The Commissioner of Police sending out a strong warning to criminals. The details straight ahead in the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition.
And that warning comes as 2 males are shot dead and another is still fighting for life in hospital. So don't go anywhere. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the war on crime intensified today as the Royal Bahamas Police Force investigates a shooting death at the hands of officers and a second murder occurring a short time ago as 2 brothers are shot on the streets. The Commissioner of Police calling a news conference today outlining details of that first early morning shooting in the Malcolm Road area when 2 officers were attacked by gunmen. As we hear from Siesker Adderley, the commissioner is sending out a strong warning to those confronting officers in the line of duty.
A man is dead following a police-involved shooting taking place early Saturday morning. Police Commissioner Alison Greenslade addressed the incident during a press conference.
At 2:30 a.m. this morning, a relatively young Bahamian male, armed with an illegal firearm, approached 2 on-duty police officers and attempted to kill them. The officers were armed. One officer withdrew quickly his service-issued pistol, fired upon the armed suspect, hitting him. The suspect attempted to run away with his gun still being clutched in his hand. He fell, and where he fell, his illegal weapon fell.
While the shooting death is being termed unfortunate as it leaves another Bahamian family grieving, Commissioner Greenslade said it wasn't a smart move for the suspect to attempt to harm those 2 officers.
As Commissioner, having been properly briefed about this unfortunate situation, and having been properly briefed about the antecedents, meaning the past history of the deceased, I have no reservations in telling you as a public and as a press that young man had the ability to kill, young man had the propensity to kill, and that young man was prepared to kill those 2 officers. I thank God that the officers, properly armed and properly trained, were able in the face of that confrontation to react quickly and to neutralize the threat of harm to themselves.
The police commissioner stressed the fact that officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force have the right to defend themselves and the citizens of the Bahamas, and he warned that officers are armed and properly trained.
Our police officers are properly armed. I am able, as commissioner, to purchase the best equipment, the best weapons. That is not to brag, but simply to say that I have a duty of care to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and a duty of care to our officers. They are properly trained, they are properly equipped, and they understand the law. If you confront a police officer or any other law enforcement professional, and you're armed with an offensive, dangerous, deadly instrument, and in any case to wit, an illegal firearm, the law is crystal clear. And those officers are trained, and they are prepared to defend themselves and to defend the good citizens of this country. Do not attempt to take on a police officer. It's a bad decision.
Commissioner Greenslade reaffirmed the force's commitment to restoring the country's good name. This as officers continue to be on the front line, ensuring there is peace and tranquility on our streets. Siesker Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, a few hours following that news conference, officers were called to the intersection of Soldier Road and Prince Charles Drive, where two siblings were hit by gunmen as they left the funeral of a brother. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, says the 18-year-old brother was driving in a vehicle with his 14-year-old sibling and were heading to a repass at a relative's house. He said when they stopped by the traffic light, persons in a gold Honda pulled up.
At the traffic light, when persons in a gold Honda pull across them, two men exited, two persons exited, pulled a black tar mask over their faces, ran up on this vehicle and began discharging shots into the vehicle. The 18-year-old driver, he was shot multiple times about the body, and also his younger brother, age 14, he was shot multiple times, and they sped off en route to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where they were intercepted by a police vehicle that assisted them to PMH, where they were examined. And the 18-year-old brother, he was pronounced dead at the time. And the younger brother, he up to a moment ago was still in surgery, and he's listed in critical condition.
Meantime, police say this latest teenage victim was released on bail after being charged for a serious offense. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean says they continue to see a trend on bail are being gunned down.
We are finding out persons who have been recently released from prison for serious indictable offenses. We are finding it so often. They are either being involved as the shooter and recent murders, just they come out, or they become a victim. We can say that the victim was being electronically monitored. He was just released from prison for indictable offense on bail, and this is what the challenges the police are being faced with every day. Law enforcement, we do our part that get these people in the front of the courts. We are doing it. So we have to find a way, even as a country, all the systems of justice have to work together to help us to make sure that we keep these persons locked behind bars.
Also this evening, the Commissioner of Police, Allison Greenslade, is sending out a stern warning to those officers who are posting sensitive information via social media. The Commissioner says this is something that will not be tolerated under his direction.
Police officers must always conduct themselves in a way that brings credit to the reputation of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Police officers cannot be on Facebook, posting on Instagram, and posting YouTube footage of crime scenes, of privileged police information, of police reports, nor should they be posting voice notes in talk groups among family members and friends and offering opinions as to what they believe one way or the other. Officers must line themselves up properly with the policies and procedures of the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
As the Royal Bahamas Police Force seeks to combat crime throughout the Bahamas, the Exuma District, like many family islands, is confronting crime issues of its own. Head of the district, Superintendent Mactavius Daniels, says the island is battling with smuggling issues.
We don't have a serious crime problem in the island. What our major challenge is here in the Exumas is we have the illegal smuggling of the human trafficking issue, and then we have drug trafficking. People still use, because of the layout of the island, all of these keys, people still use these as a drug transshipment area. And so that is basically our challenge. We work closely with the Defense Force, the DEU, we have the OPBAT, the Operation Bahamas, Tricks and Caicos, and I think together we're doing a reasonably good job, but there's always room for improvement, and there's also a need for more equipment.
In In other news this evening, the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute already receiving international recognition, although still in its first phase. According to President of BAMSI, Godfrey Eneas, the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute has selected BAMSI as its representative in the Bahamas. The mission of the Regional Institute is to contribute to the sustainable development of Caribbean people through agricultural research for development. Mr. Eneas noted that Regional Institute will be administering a €9 million project, of which BAMSI stands to benefit financially for the work it will be doing as an agent for CARDI. The president of BAMSI is also pleased with the regional feedback to BAMSI's progress, and he says in the next year at least 60 to 100 highly trained Bahamians will be placed in the local agriculture field.